failing to sterilize tools and sanitize foot spas, having no license or working with an expired one. Time and time again, in record after record, we found violations at nail salons all across the Metroplex. Violations which can ultimately affect your health. Did you ever think that that could happen from a pedicure?
No.
Stacey Berry's staph infection on her leg, hours after a pedicure, is an example of how a little pampering may turn into a big problem. She ended up in an emergency care clinic. How much did the treatment end up costing you?
$500 for a $25 pedicure.
Soldiers injured fighting for our freedom in Iraq and Afghanistan. They returned to Texas only to find themselves feeling under attack again.
Now I'm sitting here being treated like, I've done something wrong.
Our joint investigation uncovers hundreds of Army records, allegations of abuse inside Special Army units that promise to help soldiers heal.
So harassment and abuse, there is unacceptable in our force.
Zero
harassment,
tolerance.
Zero tolerance for harassment and abuse.
We go to Washington to get answers and travel to 3 Texas Army posts, tracking down the stories of the injured, the shocking treatment they experienced.
It was a very dangerous place.
And the crushing impact it had on those who fought for our country.
The idea is that you're weak, you're cowardly, you're worthless, you're not strong, and it's your fault.
The combined resources of NBC5 and the Dallas Morning News investigate injured heroes, broken promises.
It was on a summer night.
Sheila Mitchell's story begins like so many.
I was acquainted with 2 of the individuals. They told me that they were going to take me to my boyfriend, and I trusted them, and I got in the car.
That road led to the darkest place imaginable.
I ended up at a house that I did not know in the basement. I was gang raped.
It's the kind of crime that can happen anytime, but at the Dallas Area Rape Crisis Center, they know it is more likely to happen now.
We now have enough statistics to show us when our busy time of year is, and it does increase from May until about October.
The numbers reveal the warm weather worry. In April of last year, the Rape Crisis Center took in 14 new victims. In May, that jumped to 24. June was even worse, 29. Going all the way back to 2010, when the center opened, the month-to-month trend is similar.
5, 4.
A tornado shelter needs to withstand this.
Firing.
A 2x4 catapulted from a cannon at 100 miles an hour.
That's more damage than a bullet from a gun.
Because a tornado's winds make weapons of trailers and trucks, bricks and branches, shooting debris with a violence unmatched by a gun. That's what happened on April 3rd of 2012 here in Dallas-Fort Worth. 17 tornadoes carved a catastrophic course, leaving little where homes once stood. And for Louisiana native Viola Franklin, it was her breaking point.
So it was after that I was like, I need a shelter. I want to be safe.
So Viola and her husband Troy settled on an $8,500 in-ground shelter from North Texas Garage Floor Storm Shelters. Its website boasts it has the #1 selling tornado shelters on the market today, and it says it's a Better Business Bureau accredited business. And you gave them how much?
$47.92.
They signed a contract in May of 2013 that stated this first payment would be non-refundable, and the installation would begin 1 month later. But 1 year later,
I still do not have anything but a drawing in my garage and a bucket.
Sunset in North Texas, and the news has not stopped. We're following big breaking developments on 2 stories. First, Ebola. Hazmat crews are preparing to clean up after the Dallas Ebola patient.
Plus brand new information from the outbreak in West Africa.
And we'll take you where few cameras have been.
Tonight, NBC's Dr. Nancy Snyderman is headed for isolation after one of her crew members tested positive for Ebola.
And we cannot forget the storms. Roofs wiped away, a wall left in rubble. Tonight, we take you live to the North Texas damage.
Last year, Melinda Allen ended up in this emergency room at Texas Health Harris Methodist in Fort Worth, a hospital she knew was in network with United Healthcare, her insurer. Later, she was socked with a bill from the ER doctor.
And I thought, okay, that's a mistake.
But it was no mistake. The reason? While Harris Methodist is in network with United Healthcare, the ER doctor is not. And as fate would have it, a few months later, her husband Bob had an accident.
Sliced my little finger pretty bad.
He ended up in the same ER.
And guess who walks in the door? The same doctor that's not in my network.
Tell me what went through your mind.
It was like this. I couldn't believe it. I said, "You're out of my network." And he looked at me like,
all right, here we go. You all right with that?
Tattoos may be artwork, the in thing to do, or deeply personal.
My husband died in April. I was just kind of a ball of grief. I got the butterfly to signify kind of like a rebirth.
Ginny Wills thought it a simple act, but make no mistake.
You're opening the skin. Not enough people think about tattooing as minor surgery, which is really what it is.
Minor surgery, needles drilling permanent pigment into your skin. But it can lead to diseases like hepatitis B or C, or infections like the one Ginny got when she had this done at her home.
It hurt to touch.
Wash the tattoo really well.
That's why Josh Hall says it's important to go to a legal, licensed studio. He started J. Hall & Company Gentleman Tattooers in Dallas nearly 2 years ago. But he's troubled that even though the studio you go to is licensed, it may never have been inspected.
Have you ever had anybody from the State Health Department come do an inspection?
No.
This is what happens in a matter of seconds when someone mistakenly tries to use water to put out a grease fire. The Denton Fire Department showed us the explosive results. They say it's a common mistake.
It's a threat to any person that's in there, kitchen staff all the way to the restaurant patrons.
It can happen in any busy kitchen, like this one, Maryland's Fine Foods in DeSoto. This is what high school football coach Matt Nix lives for, spending time here at home, his home, with his wife, son, and doting daughter. And this home is where Matt and Denise plan to raise their little ones, but they're worried.
So you got this horizontal crack that's nearly all the way across.
Yeah, corner to corner.
That was the first hint of possible foundation trouble. Then the doors.
Okay, this one definitely catches, and this door used to, but now it's not so tight. You can definitely see a difference. It surprised me because the house wasn't very old. So.
Absolutely. So the house was built in 2004.
And is still under warranty. So 3 years ago, they called Advanced Foundation Repair, the company contracted by their builder, D.R. Horton.
And so you were told that this was just normal settling?
Cosmetic.
D.R. Horton told us Advanced did not recommend foundation repair. It points out in North Texas, the clay soil can expand in the winter and contract in the summer. So a good watering program is key.
I got two too. 1, 2.
Kristen Young needed a car, a reliable car to carry precious cargo.
Whoa!
But she and her husband are both students. Money is tight. So they turned to Craigslist.
We needed something that we felt like would be good for the family.
She found this, a 2000 Honda Accord, very clean and low miles, 101,000. And the seller had assurances the car had been cared for, just a little accident.
Something fell on top of the hood and all that needed fixed was the hood.
So they bought it.
At what point did you begin to suspect there are more miles on this car than he said there were?
We actually found that out the next day.
Let's hope I'm good.
Krista Middleton lives with type 1 diabetes. When her blood sugar drops dangerously low...
Krista, I need you to drink.
No.
Like in this home video, often she can't tell she's dipping into the danger zone.
And then I'm passing out and I'm going into comas and my kids are finding me in seizures.
Can you drop your ball?
So she got a diabetic alert dog, specially trained through scent detection to tell Krista when her blood sugar is too high or too low.
Boy.
Brian Worthy did the same, and Mindy Guidry got one for her daughter.
So you really thought this was going to be life-changing?
It was. Not in the way I thought it was going to be.
Mindy complains her dog is often oblivious to the young diabetic she's supposed to protect. She paces, pants, poops, and is petrified in public.
I cannot take her out in public at all. Even in our own household, she's scared.
Come here.
Krista and Brian insist their dogs aren't service dog material either.
Do any of your dogs do what they're supposed to do?
No.
No matter how you fill it, measure it, or pour it, chances are when you do a load of laundry, you may be overloading on detergent. So says Consumer Reports.
When we ask consumers how much detergent they use, they generally show us way too much.
To get to the bottom of why, I went shopping for the top-selling liquid laundry detergents. Then I called in these washing wizards, moms who do their family's dirty duds.
Who was the person who taught you how to do laundry?
My mother.